Hey, George Simmons, you're destroyed, man.
You the guy who was on after me?
It's very hard to be romantic with women when you live on a pull-out couch. Once those two little legs come down, you know it's on, right?
I enjoyed your set. You were good.
Maybe you can write me some jokes.
I've been going to this guy's movie since the moment I can remember. This is amazing, guys.
If he's like, do you have any friends that are like you but just way funnier and more talented? You can say yes.
I'm gonna tell you something, and I don't want you to get all weird on me. I'm dying.
It's too early to know who's winning the fight, the medicine or the disease.
Did anybody ever tell you you have a very scary accent?
You are a very funny man. I enjoy your movies.
And I enjoy all of your movies.
Which movies?
The ones where you try to kill Bruce Willis.
Oh my God, that's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Are you crying right now?
I don't think I am.
Now you're gonna start with the noises? Oh, come on, wipe it off. People are gonna think I broke up with you.
Did you tell your mom?
Yes, I sent her an email and she tried to email me back on a toaster. There is always the one girl out there that got away.
This is my husband, Clark.
The one that got away. Guys have that and serial killers have that.
You'll beat this disease, mate. Have you considered Eastern medicine?
Clark speaks fluent Chinese.
Baba boo yow.
Baba boo yow.
Baba boo yow. Baba boo yow.
Sounds like a scene from Deer Hunter.
Hey, you want to talk to me while I try to fall asleep? So, right, that's not your real name. You're hiding some Judaism.
I don't think I can hide that. My face is circumcised.
I don't want to get your hopes up, but we may have beaten this thing.
The doctor said I'm not sick anymore. Yes! All right, go ahead.
What was that like, having one foot in the door?
I'm feeling like I'm in the moment for the first time in my life.
I have to save her. Save her from her beautiful house, delightful kids, and lovely husband.
You think this guy's a good guy?
Is something going on here?
No, nothing's going on around here.
Don't mock me. I don't appreciate it.
Lots of people go to massage parlors.
I explained all that.
That doesn't mean I was getting a rub and tug.
What accent is that?
Oi.
I think he caught a glimpse of something that most people don't get to see.
Her husband? He's gonna kill us. He's from Australia. They just kill things there.
Don't hurt him.
This job is not at all what I thought it was gonna be.
Get in the ball, George! Ball up!
Fight like a man, would ya? I don't know how to fight. I'm a comedian.
When my grandfather died, there was one candle next to his bed, and the candle started flickering. We all thought it was him going to heaven, you know.
You don't pass through fire to get to heaven. I think he went to hell.
Funny people.
Jesse pick.
Funny people. A little, I mean, still right, I'd say, along the lines of what I picked, but slightly different.
Very much you,
No.
but also different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It's
I've seen this once when it came out in theaters, and this was the first time I've seen it since then. And I don't remember anything. I remember like the general plot, but I was surprised. I was still surprised in the tone, especially. I mean, obviously, I don't know. It's a very real movie.
that was one of my things too, and I really like it because it just felt real. There's like,
Yeah.
maybe I'll get into it later, but like the fight scene at the end, like, you know, I was just like,
Oh
I
my
just love
gosh.
that, like, this is just feels like how a fight scene actually would go, and not you know, like maybe what would be dramatized. Drama.
They should have had that at the whole movie throughout. They should have had not a dramatization at the bottom.
Yeah, they're like, this is just
this is real. But yeah, so let's get into it then. So Jesse picked this, and yeah, I don't know. You want to go into it, Jesse or Joe, or because you've never seen this before, right?
I have never seen this before.
Initial thoughts before we.
Yeah.
So I think my initial thoughts are interesting because I might have taken some similar thoughts to what you guys just said, but just a little differently. Like I thought it would wrap up a little differently than it did. And maybe it wrapped up in a more realistic way, but I was like, come on, like I want like some moral redemption here. And
You're like, I want the movie ending.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So like it was good. It was entertaining. I thought it was a little long. I thought it ran on pretty long, but that's also like the fight scene went along like 30 seconds more than most fight scenes did, which maybe is more realistic. But like, you know, like you're chasing him around the yard and just like avoiding the fight. It's like, wait, no, you got to go that way. So it was funny, which is usually what I'm looking for out of these types of movies. So that was good. It was Seth Rogen kind of humor. So I feel like you had to come into it knowing that that's what you're getting. I love Adam Sandler. So great cast. So many good cameos in this movie.
Ridiculous.
Tons.
So many. Also, James Taylor was in this movie. I love James Taylor.
He was really good.
He's my middle name is named after James Taylor.
I was about to say Joe's named after him.
Taylor, not James.
I was gonna say too, with the length, I forgot like going into it, I saw like it's like 2.5 hours, and I was gonna be like, oh man, you know, like I love Judd Apatow, but am I gonna think it's long? And actually, I was pleasantly surprised. But I also remember, like, I think it might be in Judd's stand-up that came out. He has like a whole kind of like thing about like kids, you know, like criticizing him for making a long movie, and now he gets really sensitive about it. He was like, "You try making a movie in."
Yeah,
2.5 hours long for a comedy, but I enjoyed it.
I agree. Like it like I agree with Joe and Jesse actually. Like it felt long, but it didn't feel as long as it was. Like it was,
yeah.
Which I thought it worked. I was like, okay, I was never really bored, but I was like, some of the scenes, I was like, you could cut these down for sure. But I think they succeeded in what they went for, which was like capturing obviously Adam Sandler's like life. And like, I think you needed that length to show, you need to capture the emotion and to capture like really how he feels. I don't know. I was okay with the length. Like, I don't know. I don't ever have a problem with length as long as I'm entertained the whole time. But
it was interesting because it was, obviously it's a hilarious movie, but there was a lot of like really dark, depressing moments too, like with comedy laced in there. But like, you know, the whole premise is the dude is dying and he's like, yeah, just sell it, don't matter, like you know, get rid of all my cars and or whatever. And
yeah,
I would like I found myself like cringing not at the humor sometimes, but just at how like depressing the like story was initially. and like it's not like I lost like interest at that point because it was so funny. They were cracking jokes like every other, you know, sentence. But like it was a really weird mix of emotions of like happy that he didn't die, depressed for the majority of the movie because I thought he was dying. And I thought he would actually die at the end of the movie. I thought that'd be the ending. And then obviously lots of like humorous moments. So, but like also very like every single one of those felt authentic because like if you were dying, I feel like that's maybe how you'd feel. But I don't know. So it was just like a weird mix of emotions to me.
Yep, I 100% agree. Yeah, go for it.
That are like all like I feel like some of my favorite movies are the ones where you're like, I cried, I laughed, you know, like.
Well, that's it. Like the sign of a good movie to me is like, did it make you feel something? Because like if you felt
did it make
scared,
you feel all the things?
Yeah. It's like if a horror movie made you scared, it's done its job. If a comedy made you laugh, it's done its job. With this particular one, I was just like, wow, I felt happy, sad, like, I laughed, you know,
concerned.
Yeah, like so like it was just a range of emotions, and maybe that was it. Maybe I just felt a lot of emotion and I just didn't know how to handle it.
I'm feeling a lot right now.
And that plays on like, I mean, Jesse, I'm sure this is a whole nother topic, especially because you're a big stand-up fan, but like,
yeah,
I mean, I don't know too much about it. I'm not a huge stand-up person, but I know enough where this is literally like, I mean, obviously it's not Adam Sandler's life, but it's like, it's probably a life of a lot of comedians. Is like not specifically the leukemia stuff, just the life, like depressed, you know, a lot of like comedians that are like not in a good place. That's where a lot of jokes come from. Like Robin Williams, like for example, like all that stuff. Like, I don't know. It's just interesting to see that like unfold, like, cause you don't really see the behind the scenes of comedians, I feel like. And you're like, oh, they're just funny. They're happy-go-lucky people all the time, but not all the time.
Was before Robin Williams.
5 years before. Yeah.
And there was like a joke in the movie about it.
I know.
You know, kind of.
That was really.
It
I
was like really. I had to be
love
like,
that.
wait, when did this happen? Yeah, I love stand up, and I love that this movie like it wasn't centered around stand up. It was like kind of in the story, but it's not like stand up was like
right.
This was a movie about stand up comedy, which I love. But one, other than all like the great cameos, and like there's so many comedians I think who like recorded sets for this movie, that like got cut out because they just like filmed them, like real sets. But I love that dynamic of like Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill, and Jason Schwartzman, like that like young out in Hollywood trying to make it. I mean, other than Jason Schwartzman, but like, because I think Judd was roommates with Adam when they moved out to LA, and they were like 22-year-old, no name people, and like they were going out trying to do stand up and stuff, and like, it's just so weird. Obviously now they're making the movie together, but right. There's something I love about that, like, not that I wish I did that, but that like, oh, that'd be cool. Like they're like, right after college, you move out, you live in the house with all your friends, and you're all just trying to make it. You're like all doing the like side job, but you're all trying to make this like huge goal, kind of like swinging for the fences.
Yeah, I wrote down that like, I don't know too much about Judd Apatow, but like I feel like he's like the guy that everyone likes to work with in Hollywood. Like you go to film school or whatever, and you're like, oh, these guys are all kind of, they're egotistical and they, whatever. But I feel like Judd's the kind of guy where clearly everyone was in the movie, so they all clearly like him. And it's like, I'm sure he's the guy where it's like, oh, I'm so glad that you are in this field because we need people like you to drive these types of movies, because you don't want like a D-bag to make these type of movies. But like it's hard, especially the comedians. Like, I don't know, comedians, like not all of them obviously are like assholes, but like I'm sure they can be. And I feel like Judd Apatow is probably the perfect person to kind of realize who's good and who's not. And like, that's why I'm sure that's why he cast Adam Sandler. Like, I don't know. It just, I really like was into it just because it gave me a whole new perspective on that. Something that I'm not super familiar with.
Yeah. Judd, why I love Judd Apatow is because he's like such a comedy nerd in like the biggest way. Like he grew up in Long Island, and his mom worked at a comedy club, and so he just like grew up watching comics like every single night. And I think he like basically started it. I think he started or joined like the student newspaper just to like have an excuse to like interview comedians, and like because his book Sick in the Head is like just all these interviews with comedians, and he like, it's like Jerry Seinfeld. I think either he might have still been in high school when he interviewed Jerry Seinfeld. Crazy. And he's just like one of those guys who's like so like studied, like every single comedian and like that whole genre so well. And like people don't know him as like he's done stand-up, but like obviously people don't know him as a stand-up. But he's like, I've never heard a comedian like say anything bad about him or not think that like Judd is like the biggest comedy nerd, like in the best way, like he truly knows this space.
He reminds me of someone that's just like loves what he does. He was literally born for this, and he acted on it, and it's great because you can tell he loves it. He's good at it. People like him. Like, what else do you want?
Yeah, he's just killing it. He's out there killing it.
Yeah, I love when you can tell people when they're doing what they love. I just love when you can tell that from their art form, at least.
Yeah, it's just like a more genuine take on.
Yeah, it's personable, it's genuine, it's real. It's great.
Always getting back to that real.
I know this movie, dude. That was my sum up of the movie is real. One word, real.
To just talk about two like general cast things before we get back to the movie, because there are so many good people. Well, one, Jason Schwartzman, I've just been seeing him around recently a lot, like on talk shows and stuff. Also, did you know he's a Coppola?
No.
He's cut. And did you know Nick Cage is a Coppola?
I did know that.
Like they're all cousins. Jason's mom is a Coppola. Like, I don't remember the whole tree of
they're everywhere, dude.
Francis Ford and Sophia. But like Nick Cage and him it's just funny to me. I'm like, if you were
They
going
don't
into
look
Hollywood,
similar like at all.
yeah, and if you were gonna go into acting and you were a Coppola, why would you not use that name?
I get it, but also don't get it. Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it was just one of those like shocking things that I just had, he's like in a new movie he was on, James Corden, and they were like, your cousin, I forget their first name, Coppola directed this film, and I was like, wait, what? Cousin?
Interesting. Along with the casting, is like Seth Rogen was great, but I thought it was so interesting because I feel like this is not a usual role for him. I mean, it was early on. Well, not early, but it was earlier on. But I feel like a lot of times he's usually in the Adam Sandler shoes, or like the confident one, or like the guy who's like the boss of everything. And it was just interesting to see him as like the assistant and kind of like that role, because I feel like that's not a normal role for him because he's such like a mainstream guy and like such a big actor.
He did do. I've been watching Freaks and Geeks again.
I was gonna say, I forgot Judd Apatow did Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah, Judd Apatow. And again, think of how many great casts. Like what Freaks and Geeks launched, like James Franco, Seth Rogen, Jason Segel, Linda Cardellini,
yeah,
Martin Starr. I mean, like that cast is insane. But it's like Seth Rogen was in that.
Right.
And it's just funny because he's like the mini. They're all Freaks and Geeks. So funny to watch because it's like the mini version of what they are now. But like this movie, like you were saying, reminded me almost of like Seth, more like in that character than kind of like his, like him and James Franco films.
His first film was Donnie Darko.
Oh, I feel like you maybe have told me that.
Yep. Segue.
You were interesting.
Oh, big for next week.
Yeah, but the cast was crazy. The whole movie, I just thought of Jesse. I thought of you because I was like, this is literally like your life. Like I feel like you should just be in this movie. You need to be with all these people making jokes, like trying to make it big in the comedian world.
Jesse's like, okay.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's like this stemmed from last week when I was like, I want the Apatows to adopt me. So I'll pick the movie that it's just like everyone in the movie is like, yeah, I just would like to be in this film, like in this world. Like I love like Jonah Hill, especially in this, and I just love any of the times where they're like working on stand-up, and they're like going back and forth and being like, dude, yeah, you shouldn't have lost weight, like, and just like, like in the room, just being like two like dumb kids trying to like do jokes. I just loved like anytime it would cut to that kind of in the movie.
Yeah, the dynamic of those three guys was pretty funny.
They needed to be in it more, for sure. Yeah. I don't know if this is weird to say, but I like fat Jonah Hill better than skinny Jonah Hill. I think he's just funnier.
Jonah Hill.
Like Superbad. This was around Superbad, right? I think like this was probably right after ish.
Yeah.
Because he sounds like the look and the sound, like his voice.
I think Superbad is like 2007.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And this was like 9. I don't know. I think you're right though. I think it's just right after a couple years.
Okay. Eric Bana is funny as the Australian. Is he Australian? Is he
actually thinking the same thing? I was like, I don't know if he's Australian, but he's a really good
accent.
I thought you guys would like when he was showing them the rugby game.
I was gonna say that was me during a Raiders. That's me during a Raiders game.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Like I can't sit down. I'm always like, okay, and here's this person. Here's this person.
This guy.
And they were just like,
And he's like, I loved it too. He was like, oh, I can't remember what he said. I'll have to remember, but he said something about like, oh, this guy's a fucking joke or something like that. Like it just like,
yeah, he'd be like, I don't like this one. I don't like this one. That was one I don't like. This one I like. That guy I don't like. This big guy.
I love that. It was great. He was a kid. He was really funny in that. But I thought this movie, it showed, like obviously Adam Sandler's a great actor, but I think this is a movie that really shows acting chops. Like I thought he's so good. He reminded me of how good of an actor he is. Like I don't know how to explain it, but I think he's such a phenomenal actor.
He's really good.
Click a little bit too.
There were certain times where I like thought it, Click, or when he was like, before they went to that doctor, when he was like going crazy and he's like, hand me the remote. This thing it just stops, stuff. And I was like, Click.
Same character? Maybe? Who knows?
I am really curious how much like unaired footage there is from this film, because I love I love part of the film. Well, one, how they like actually use old clips of Adam Sandler and like
Super cool.
Leslie Mann, you know, and the kids, and like it's real footage of them.
It's real. Again, it's real.
It's real. And I love though, like they even shot that, like the Yo Teach, that show that Jason Schwartzman's on, which Bo Burnham, great cameo and funny people too. Which I love. Bo Burnham's got a new special coming out.
Ooh.
My pick in 3 weeks.
Ooh, actually.
It'd be interesting, actually.
That'd be interesting.
But I remember when this came out, I saw like the footage of like the filmed Yo Teach clips that aren't in the movie, but they like actually filmed them and like released them. I don't know if it was part of the like marketing plan, but like I remember watching clips from Yo Teach of like Bo Burnham rapping in it. That when I was watching this again, I was like, wait, is that clip going to be in the movie, or was it just an extra, or was it part, like, you know?
Interesting.
I just feel like there's probably a lot of like unaired footage that they did. You know, like I know there's a ton with different comedians for like the fillers on stage, but
I was gonna say this reminded me of like it was like a stand-up special, but like embellished. Like it was a movie based on a stand-up kind of, which it is, but it's like, you know, how you watch a stand-up special on Netflix. It was like that, but if it was a movie, this is it. This would be it.
I'm looking at IMDb right now, and it looks like the two girls that of like Leslie Mann's family is
her
the
kids.
Apatow kids.
Oh
yeah, Maud and Iris.
Yeah,
that's why Jesse picked this movie, because the whole family's affiliated. With
brings them all in.
I think they were her kids too in Knocked Up, or was she in?
I think it was Knocked
They're
Up.
the
too.
two
Yep.
kids.
Mhm.
Yeah, like they got acting. They're
This is
really
42.
good. I mean, Maud's like she was in Euphoria.
Yeah,
like a legit actor.
Yeah,
Is
I don't know about Iris, but
I was gonna say I know she's been in other of his films, but I don't know if she's done.
Jesse, I have a question for you. Do you think Leslie Mann was better in this movie or George of the Jungle?
Ooh.
She kind of sucked in this movie though. Like her character. I really liked her as an actress. I hated her character though.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I was gonna say, I was like, I would, you know, just like 10 out of 10 in both, but you know, but like, yeah, George of the Jungle, you like her character so much more. Like she's
so
just a
funny,
more
yeah.
enjoyable character.
Yeah.
This one,
I thought I liked her at first in this. I was like, oh, she's fine, but then she got worse as the movie went on.
Yeah, that's what I love at the end, that they're kind of all horrible. And like Seth, you kind of realize that like Seth Rogen's the one that you're like rooting for the whole time. Right. And I just love that whole where he's running to the airport to like stop her, but she's like that whole, you know, he just like pretends he's at the airport. They're like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I'm going to LA. They're like, you're in the like Chinese International Lounge. And he's like, oh, really? Like
he's just like, I thought I was in a Panda Express.
Yeah. I just love that, like how real that ending is of like, yeah, you don't get the ending you think. They're all kind of horrible. Like Seth's just trying to help, and then Adam Sandler's obviously pissed, and he's like, why would you go to the airport?
Joe, did you like his fedora?
Loved his fedora. But like, I feel like one of the things I like about Adam Sandler, and it kind of, I think this is a more recent thing, but like I've seen like memes of him where it's like, you know, Adam Sandler's like doing great for himself, but he still chooses to dress like this. And then it's just like him in like a t-shirt and shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it wasn't that different. Like I got that same vibe, like, which I just feel like is like authentically him in this movie, where he's like in this like huge fancy house. And he's just like, you know, he's just a comedian. So he's just like, just normal dude, you know? I feel like he's got that going on in this movie. And it just kind of, the fedora is like a dressed up version of Adam Sandler.
Well, I mean, from experience, because I was in the scene with him, the do-over. I was in the do-over scene.
We should say that, like, as a disclaimer, that Joe and Adam are co-workers. They've worked together. So like he might be biased in the review.
Might be a little biased, but I was in a scene in the Do-Over movie on Netflix. In the Pet Boys, I walked behind him. You can tell because I'm wearing my little Livestrong bracelet. But
it's like I think it's like your like right shorts, light blue shirt. It's like
it
very
was,
Joe
it was khaki.
at that
It was
time.
khaki pants and a light blue shirt.
Yeah, it was
and I
just
do.
very...
You can tell how I walk. It's so funny. You can't see my face, but you can see basically my neck below.
You'll
the back
know
of my
it's
head.
Joe.
I think you see the back of my head a little bit. But
you can
anyway, on set with him, he was like, it was just so cool to like see him, like, because his kids were there and his wife. They were like all they're just kind of hanging out. And he was like so cool with like his family, just seeing him interact. And like he literally wore basketball shorts to set, and like they made him change. Like he's so casual and like he doesn't really care, which I love. He's just like, I'll do what I want, wear what I want. I respect it. That's pretty cool. And like sometimes I've seen like celebrities walk around Savannah and like they're all dressed up, and like I've seen Adam Sandler walk around Savannah and just literally a tank top, like a wife beater or something. And like, it's so funny. He's one of those people that like embodies like comedian really well, like the epitome of like a comedian, like has a serious side but is also hilarious but also super complicated.
I wouldn't
like
even
when most
say,
people
like,
think of a comic, they probably think of like the essence of Adam Sandler.
Right. Yeah, like I don't think I like seriousness maybe isn't the word I would use, but just like
real,
deep. Yeah, deep. Yes, real. Keeps coming back. Yeah, just he's just a real dude. Do we have any locations?
We have Ira's apartment, the exterior, LA, and then
is that private?
I mean, it's an apartment building, so technically yes, but technically no. Apartment buildings are so weird because like they are private, but they're not at the same time. Like you could definitely go. Obviously, you could knock on their door and ask, but like like I feel like the exterior is all fair game because it's technically public property. But the San Francisco airport, the LA airport, I don't know, millions. The Griffith Observatory, I think, is in there too. A million movies there though, so you might want to wait on that. Bowfinger, yep.
Did you just mention that?
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Bowfinger yet, so
had to get it in.
But speaking of cameos, Aubrey Plaza, didn't realize she was in this, and I really like her.
She was great.
So about her, like when I first started seeing her in things, I did not like her at all. I was like, she's not funny. She's trying too hard. Do not like her because I feel like she was trying to be the same character I think it was Parks and Rec. That's where I first saw her, and I didn't like her. And then more recently, over the past couple of years, I've like been watching her in other things. Like I watched this film called what was it called? Ingrid Goes West, I believe. It's like, have you seen that movie?
No, but
I kind of want to.
I remember when she was going around talking about it.
It's really good. So basically, like, she's like obsessed. She's like an obsessed fan of like this Instagram or social media star, basically, and she basically stalks her. It's actually really interesting, but she's really good in that movie. And I don't know, she was in the new Child's Play movie. I really like her now. Like I've grown to like her a lot as an actress. I think she's shown her range because I feel like before it was just kind of the same character, but now I feel like she's actually embodying what she can do. So I like it. Respect.
I really like her. She's so good. And I mean, it's funny that you say trying too hard too, because like her early characters are almost like the character itself is not caring at all. Like that was Aubrey Plaza's like typecast early. It was like she was just the girl who was like, I don't care about anything, whatever. Right. But I thought it was funny too, especially like how much they incorporated in like with real life of the actors. But like how she's like from Delaware and talks about growing up there, and like she's met Joe Biden and stuff. And then there's just that like while they're at Yo Teach, he's like, where are you from? She's like, Delaware. And they mention like, oh, do you know Joe Biden? Yeah. Like,
that's so funny.
And I was like, oh, yeah, she's actually from Delaware, and she's like met Joe Biden. Like,
that's so
Has
weird.
Everyone in Delaware met Joe Biden?
I think so. I think on Late Night she kind of said like, if you're from Delaware,
everybody.
He's been our senator forever. So like you just knew Joe.
Right. That's so funny. It's such a weird like state. I don't think I've met one person from Delaware in my entire life. So
it's the first state.
Tiny.
First state, yeah. That's crazy. But yeah, I like her a lot. Although I don't like, I feel like she should have been in it more because I feel like her character was just thrown in there. Like I don't know. Like Like, why did her and Seth Rogen have a thing at the end? Like, I don't know. Like, what was the purpose of that? Like, I don't know. It didn't do anything for me. Like, I wish she was in it more. I liked her character.
Didn't really take the story anywhere.
No.
It was just kind of like showed how like frustrating Seth Rogen can be.
Guys, because it's real. It's just real.
Also, Aziz, great. I don't.
Aziz Randy.
Yeah. I don't know how his what his current situation is in the world, but because I know he went through some stuff recently. I don't know like where that's at.
A little while ago now.
A little while ago. I don't know where that's at. So I don't know. But I liked him in this.
He's very Aziz. He's very that style of like his almost like his Parks and Rec character.
He doesn't act. He's just himself.
He's just
like I think I mentioned this before, but I don't know. I'm not a huge Parks and Rec fan, but I feel like I am him in that show. Like he just like I don't know. I feel very like we're very similar. Like he started a nightclub and he's like all about it, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have the best party ever." I'm like, I would totally do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we want to do some ratings? What unit do we have this week?
Ooh,
I'm trying to think of an appropriate one because there's.
I was trying to think about one with the Australian guy.
Oh, rugby players.
Yeah, rugby players. The guy hates. Hate that guy. Hate that guy. Hate that guy.
I'm still trying to go through my head just to make sure. I'm like, there were so many people in this cast, and I'm like, am I forgetting
Sarah Silverman?
I'd just say like number of cameos.
Yeah.
You're like 8 cameos out of. I like that. That's good.
Well, Sarah Silverman's in it. She had a little fun role. She's another type of person I feel like who like that was like basically her same character in The League, where it's kind of like she's like a sex driven but super knowledgeable but also awkward.
It's just like who she is. I think
it's so that's what I'm saying. I think it's hilarious, and that's what I think about comedians. I feel like especially comedic actors. I feel like they just embody themselves, and it works. So
Ray
well.
Romano.
Yeah.
I will say, I think
Eminem.
Romano was really funny.
Eminem.
Oh yeah, Eminem. What a weird cameo in like a hilariously long cameo. Like
we have to go cameos. Got to use cameos as the unit here.
Yeah, that's
Tom
a good
from
call.
Tom from MySpace.
Tom from MySpace.
The whole thing with MySpace being in the movie cracked me up, just because
that brought me back.
2009. Yeah,
hilarious.
I'm trying to think who else.
Yeah, this was just constantly.
Also, going back to the Jonah Hill thing, I don't know if I think this might be the first movie that I've seen them together, Adam Sandler and Jonah Hill. For me, it's just weird to see them in the same movie together. I don't know why, but like to me, they're so different. Like, I don't know. It was just weird to me to see them together. Like Seth Rogen, he can do it with anybody, but like, I don't know, Adam Sandler and Jonah Hill to me, for some reason, I liked it, obviously, but like I like their characters, but I don't know. It threw me off.
I was gonna go into very shortly, just because I love Jonah Hill so much.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're saying like you like him in the earlier,
early.
Like
that's a better way to put it. Is the earlier years.
The earlier years, is because like his career has just been so interesting. Like he's someone I think who you can see who's like grown a lot through his work. Obviously, like I feel like anyone who's been working since they were like 18. Like publicly, but like to see him to go from like super bad and this like hilarious, like one of the funniest I feel like actors at the time like you'd think of as Jonah Hill, and then getting into like Moneyball, Wolf of Wall Street, like those War Dogs, which was also hilarious actually, but like those, and then transition into like even making his own like mid-90s directing his own movie, and like even doing like collabs with like he did like collaborations in like streetwear with like
that's cool.
Adidas, and there's something with Zoe Kravitz I think coming out soon. And just like when you listen to him talk too, he's just someone who's like he's like one of these people now, very real. I feel like kind of like grew through the fame, and is now just like a super real, like very open person, like just really interesting. His like point of view on like movies and streetwear and design and style, and just like I think he had a hard time to like being public at that point in his life, and like with his weight, and like there's a period where he was like going up and down and like
Mhm.
a lot, but just I don't know, super fascinating. I love Jonah Hill so much.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, I like him. Another cameo, Justin Long. I just thought of because Accepted, they're in Accepted together. Jonah Hill and Justin Long. That movie's great. That was like
Justin
Jonah Hill's
Long
like
in.
Justin Hill was in the or Justin Long was like at the I can't remember. It was early on in the movie though, super early.
Yeah, and it was like in a movie or something, right?
Yeah,
Or like it was like in.
It was meta for sure.
Oh, it was in the redo in the Adam Sandler movie where he's a baby.
Yeah.
And Justin Long is the other character in the movie.
It's so funny. JoJo just like she hates him. She's like
Justin
despite like
yeah
worst person ever. She does not like him, and I get why people don't like him, but I like him. Like I think he's funny. Like I think he's like he's almost like at that point where it's like I like him because we can make fun of him because like I think he's a try hard. I feel like he tries too hard to be cool. Like he's like, but I kind of like it. Like it works. Weird. Like there's a film called Tusk, a Kevin Smith movie. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's like he's like a podcaster and he like goes to interview this guy. I kind of want to pick it something because it's really weird, but he's good at it. I don't know. I like it. I think he's fun.
I don't know anything about Justin Long really. I did listen to him on a podcast once. He needs some crazy stories. But
he's arrogant.
I think it's also funny that it went off of like me being like, I love Jonah Hill the best, and then we were like, what else with Justin Long? He sucks.
Yeah. But when he came on screen, JoJo was like, ugh. I hope he's not in it the whole movie.
All right, so that might take off from the rating for her, but
he was in a romantic drama film. Really good. That actually, I think that's what made me like him a lot more is that movie. I can't remember the name of it, but it was very good. It was like
something about like a meteor shower?
Yeah, yes, it was a meteor shower.
There's like a graveyard. You know what I can like picture.
They had a movie. They saw a movie in a great. I think it was the LA cemetery. I don't know. They watched a movie though. It was amazing.
Yeah, and I think the title has something to do with like galaxies or space or.
It's really good. I thought it was really well done. But yeah, that's great. Oh, we could do ratings. We could do Apatows.
Oh,
out of four Apatows. How many Apatows?
Well, they probably have cousins and stuff. There's probably 10.
That's true.
Somewhere.
I mean, there's an extended family, I'm sure.
The animals. I'm sure they have 10 Apatows somewhere.
Who wants to go?
Joe, you want to go first?
First rating.
Sure. So I feel like this is just like another one of the movies that like doesn't have a super high ceiling just because of the types of movie I liked, but I'm gonna rate it highly in that with that ceiling. So I'd say like an 8.2.
Okay, that's
8.2 Apatows. Yeah.
Wow, nice. 8.2. I love it.
8.2 Apatows.
I'll go with, let's see. Love the cast. Not like generally my type of movie. But I liked it a lot better than I thought I was going to be honest. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Would I watch it again? Probably, but not anytime soon. It's a pretty like intense subject matter, like just in general, like especially with like everything that's like whole Robin Williams, like everything like that, like the factoring and all that, it just makes it even more intense. But great cast. I'm gonna go. Oh, this is so tough. I'm gonna go 7.5 Apatows. I think.
All right.
I wish there was a little more comedy. Weirdly enough, I feel like it was. I think there was, but it wasn't my type of humor. So like, I wish it was a little more. Wish it was a little more up my alley, like geared towards me. No, I liked it though. I thought I had a good time with this, and I like everyone in it. And I do want to watch more Judd Apatow movies because I have seen some of them, but like I don't know, I'm not like too familiar with his work. But this makes me want to watch more of them. So
there's a lot of shows he's like EP'd to.
Yeah,
you know, that it would be interesting. But all right, pretty good reviews.
Yeah.
Out of 4, I'm going 4 Apatows out of 4 Apatows.
That's because
we're not at 10, Jesse. We're going 10.
But I'm going 10. I'm going to do cameos. So I have my separate Apatow rating.
Okay.
And I did. It's always interesting too, because I feel like I always have like a roller coaster. The rating's always in the back of my head when we do this, like from when we pick it. And I always have such a roller coaster of like what I think I'm going to give it a rating. Because at the beginning, I was kind of putting this off because I was like, oh, why did I pick a movie that has to deal with like death and like, like this whole thing? And I just don't want to watch it. And then part of my head, I was like, I haven't seen this probably since like around when it came out too. And I was like, like, oh, in my head, do I just love this because it's a Judd Apatow movie, and I love his work and I'm not going to love it as much. But then I watched it, really enjoyed it. And I normally, honestly, I left the movie being like, I feel like it's good. Again, like most of my movies, a movie I would just like to be in and around, right? So it's got that. I think it actually does really well with like we mentioned earlier too, like Joe was talking about like the different emotions and like it's like death. And I felt like for me, it dealt with it in such a good, real way, but it wasn't heavy on it. Like it didn't really, there was times in the movie where I almost forgot that like that was part of the like happening. Yeah. And then, so I feel like it was really good. It like, and then I came in being like, I think I'm going to do an 8.5. But then usually after talking about these two, I'm like, this is really good. Like most movies I come and then after we're talking about it. So I'm going to go 9 cameos out of 10.
Nice.
I'm going to go buy 9 cameos.
I love it.
I'd get Judd Apatow if he was on Cameo.
That'd be cool. Probably expensive, but that'd be pretty cool.
Oh, I'm going 9 out of 10.
That's awesome. Going with what you just said, like, I feel like I liked this movie because since I'm not a stand-up fan, I don't really watch it. I don't listen to it. I don't know much about it. It did a really good job of like, I don't want to say dumb down, but like it did a really good job of like kind of exploring more about it. Like I don't know anything about it, but like after watching this movie, I'm like, oh, this is kind of how they do it. And like, this is, I don't know. There's something about it that made me relate to stand-up more after watching this, even though I'm not super familiar with it, which I liked because I like when movies do that. Like when if you're going to watch a movie about like there's a Christmas film called The Holiday with Cameron Diaz, Jack Black, Kate Winslet, and Jude Law. And there's like a scene, they work in movies, and there's like a scene where John Krasinski is really young and he's like an editor, like a film editor. And it's really cool because there's a shot where they're in like they're like cutting a trailer together. And I was like, I feel like it kind of shows like the review process, and like obviously not fully, but like it shows a good amount that you don't really see, and people who aren't familiar with it kind of understand a little more in that way. So I thought that's what this did for me with stand up, is like kind of showed me a little more of how it works. And I liked it. That was great. I like when movies do that.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to. Yeah, I'm not going to watch a documentary on this subject, but I like to just be exposed to it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, for sure. Yeah, but now I can be like,
open the door.
Yeah, exactly. So, but cool. That's awesome.
Now, like you don't, like when we went to like those open mics in Portland, this is what was happening behind the stage.
I will say I like live stand up. Like if it's someone that I like,
for sure.
Like I'll go. Like when we saw Steve and Azizi, like that was great. And when we saw Craig Robinson, great. Joel McHale, great. But like I don't know if I'm gonna go see someone. I never saw him. I didn't go with you guys.
All right, you were gone now.
But I'm not gonna go see. I'm not gonna spend money to go see someone I don't know. Like I'll go see a music venue, like a music show. I'll go see that regardless if I know the artist or not. But stand up, I'm not gonna buy tickets to someone I don't know, because that's just.
Sometimes I like that better, is because even if it's not good, it can be funny.
That's true. Actually,
I love going to those open mic nights because it's like, and the only people in the audience usually are like the other comics, or like when Seth, to that guy who he worked with, was like, you got to bring like, and he's like, you got to pay for me and my girl too. And he's like, just laugh really loud. And how like, I would always joke, like if I ever did stand up, you'd probably have to come high just so you were laughing hysterically, because you like bring people to laugh. And I love open mics when it's like not going well, but like the one person they brought is laughing, like hysterically.
Right.
But again, it's also interesting to just see how like people's minds work, like them trying to write a joke. Even if it doesn't work, you can kind of be like, oh, I see where they're trying to go.
And I liked the end because when Adam Sandler sat with Seth Rogen and basically read him his jokes, or like the ones he wrote down on the napkin. I really like that because like whenever I think of stand up, I'm like, how did they start thinking? Like, where did they start with these jokes? Does it just pop in their head? Like, how does this work? And like, he like literally had them written down in a physical napkin. I was like, oh, this is how some people do it. It's like they write it down and then they just like say it. And if someone laughs, they keep it in. And I don't know. It's super interesting. Like it's also funny to see like what's funny to those people. Like, why is this funny to you? Like, I don't know. Comedy is so interesting. It's like such a unique thing. It's hard. It's very, very difficult to be funny.
It is. I do love when I feel like it's rare, but I love when people laugh at their own jokes.
Yeah.
Or like, I think I love like, even not out of stand-up, but like Bill Hader, I love because like on SNL, he would break character and laugh all the time. And there's something about like watching the person being funny also dying laughing. It's like hard to not laugh.
Do you know he was supposed to be casted as Jason Schwartzman's character? Jason Schwartz.
In this?
He was like, I think he almost was casted as that character.
Oh.
So
I could see that.
I don't know. Yeah. But
I like Jason in that role though.
He's funny. I don't know a lot of his work. Like I've only seen Rushmore, I think, with him in it. That's my only Wes Anderson film I've ever seen too. So
It's the only one you've seen. Okay. Might have to pick one of those.
Yeah, maybe. But
Do we whose pick is it?
It's my pick.
It's your okay.
I was hoping that a good segue would happen, but it's not.
Do you here plant one? We'll edit this out.
All right. So I'm going to go, let's see. So May 20th is when we're releasing my episode, which is Friday, May 20th. And so I decided to go with someone whose birthday is on May 20th as well. And that birthday is Jimmy Stewart. So I'm going to pick the Hitchcock film Rear Window.
Ooh. I don't think I've seen that one.
Are we sure that's the 20th, man?
May 20th. I hope so, because I've built that up. So let me check.
No, Friday's the 21st.
Me. God damn
it. Try again. Different
Here, hold
segue.
on.
Hold on. I'm going to look up my 21st birthday.
Wait. Hold on. No, we'll just edit this out. Hey, do you guys know what's coming up May 21st?
No, what's coming up May 21st?
Yeah, what's happening on May 21st?
No, we're gonna have to redo this.
Oh, it's Josh Allen's birthday.
Bills.
Okay, well, just watch
Anyway.
a season of the Bills.
I'm gonna redo that then. I'm gonna still pick Rear Window, but I'm gonna redo what I said.
Please leave this in.
Please specifically looked it up and looked it down, and I was really
in my
excited.
head. I'm just still counting on my fingers multiple times, being like, wait, hold on, I don't.
I knew something looked off. I was like, May 9th. Okay, 2 weeks from Friday. That doesn't work. I don't know. But I just
Guys,
thought-
next week we're releasing a special episode on Thursday rather than Friday in honor of Jimmy Stewart.
Jesse, have you seen this one?
Rear Window? No, I have not.
Good. I'm excited for you guys to see it.
Cool.
I was like, I kind of want to. I was like, I want to go older, a little older movie, because it's been a newer one. So
You have a tattoo reference to this movie?
I do. I have a back tattoo, which I will.
That's like what I think of when I think of Rear Windows, when you got that tattoo.
And I have a really cool poster above my desk. A hand painted poster.
Oh yeah, I've seen that, right?
Yeah.
You've
Oh
had
yeah, I had it in Portland. So
I was gonna say I remember that.
Sean got it for me for my birthday one year, but it's one of my favorite Hitchcock movies. It's, I don't know, it's like a beautiful movie. It's very it's one location. It's a set, unfortunately, so, but it's great. I'm excited.
So nothing next week.
So nothing next week. We're not gonna watch it. But cool. Any movie news?
Movie news.
Anything that you guys are watching? Watching anything recently, or
Freaks and Geeks? Watching
Nice.
that Michael Che. Speaking of stand-ups, we saw Joe and I saw Michael Che in Portland. Great show. He has a new HBO sketch show, That Damn Michael Che, that just came out. It's pretty good if you like Michael Che.
Watch that. Yeah, I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah, it's a good throw it on. It's a good laugh. There's 6 episodes. I watched the first 2 last night. Mayor of Easttown, the new HBO.
Don't know.
I think Kate Winslet. Is it Kate Winslet?
Oh, okay.
It's good. It's a good drama.
I like her.
It's a good drama.
Watch it.
Recommend. Recommend. Still coming out. I think 3 episodes have come out so far. It's every Sunday.
I haven't really I didn't watch a whole lot of anything this week, so not much.
I know. I've been so busy too, but I did watch a film yesterday. It's a Mother's Day movie. It's called Mother's Day. It's from 1980. It's a 80s horror film. It's great. It's about this mother and
it's a Mother's Day film. It's a horror.
Yeah, and so this mother lives in the woods with like her 2 sons, and she basically kidnaps campers and kills them. It's actually like, for how campy and cheesy it is, there's actually some really good parts to it. Like, it's actually an underrated 80s horror movie. Like, and the opening credits is actually super cool because like it's a slide, like it opens and there, there's like photos. Basically the whole intro is basically photos with the credits, and it's like, so the credit will come up and then there's like a photo of like someone in college, and it's like these girls are kind of having a conversation behind the photos, like, oh, you remember that, like, remember when this happened? And it's like a projector basically where you'd hear the click and it would change. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Like, it's a unique intro that I've never seen before, so I thought that was kind of fun.
Oh, as far as movie news, you posted about this. What did they want to reboot with the Always Sunny cast?
Oh, so they announced phase 4 of Marvel, like the next phase.
Oh, right.
And Fantastic Four is that's like the movie. So it's been done before a couple times and hasn't been good at all, right? Basically, and it's like
that's like a big Surfer.
Yeah, it's like a big thing for them to announce because like it's like a big thing to take on because it hasn't been done successfully yet. But they hired the director of the Spider-Man movies to John Watts. So there's some
which Spider-Man
the newer ones, like the newer ones. So there's promise there. But there's a huge, like, for years and years, everyone's trying to get John Krasinski and Emily Blunt to be Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman because they're married in the movie too. Like it would just work. So that's still trying to happen. But then It's Always Sunny is so funny. Like, people keep saying, oh, they just cast them. And I was like, that would an Always Sunny like Marvel movie with Fantastic Four would be such a great movie. Like, I would watch the shit out of that.
It would honestly it would be good.
Yeah,
And
it would.
I feel like the critique on a lot of Marvel is like the horrible comedy aspect. So what better way to fix it than put that cast in?
Honestly. And dude, I don't know. I think it would be, it honestly is perfect. Like, and like trying something new with like, kind of like what we talked about with George of the Jungle, how like, that's not like a typical Disney movie, or it was like, I was like, that they should try something with Marvel. Like, they're following the same pattern. I feel like they should just try something new. Like, I don't know. I think that'd be kind of cool.
But it's still a cash cow, man. They're breaking it in.
I know. So like something like I posted on Instagram the other day, like, you know how the new Batman movie is coming out with like Robert Pattinson, and they're talking about how like Tom Welling from Smallville is trying to, like, he was like, yeah, I'll play Superman in that universe or whatever. And I was like, I posted about it and I was like, why do they have to make a universe of everything? And I got so many actually comments responding and they all agreed. And it's like, but it's like that's what makes movies bad, because they're trying to plan for all these freaking things, and they just put too much on the weight on their shoulders. I feel like
there's only room for like maybe 3 of those worlds.
Right. And like
in it, like of like anywhere, like
right. Like, don't get me wrong, I love when there's universes, but like it's so overused now. It's like, I don't know.
It shouldn't come at the expense of like original stuff.
100%. And like, so like the Joker movie, like they made that as a one-off standalone movie, and obviously they're considering a sequel because it made so much money, but now they're like, oh, should we put this, like, make a multiverse with like Batman? I'm like, ugh.
Is DC gonna have its own?
Oh, they already have Justice League, and they're making the Flash movie, which is actually, and they're making it like the new Doctor Strange movie, basically. So the Flash movie is gonna be, I like read about this. I don't know like anything about the Flash, but like I read about this, and it's like they're doing like this thing where like the Flash goes to other dimensions, and like Michael Keaton's Batman's gonna be in the movie, and like they're just trying so hard. I feel like
as in Michael Keaton's gonna come back
as Batman. Yeah. Ooh. I don't know how it's gonna work.
I like Michael Keaton. I don't know.
Me too, but like,
but I do like Michael
why?
Keaton.
Like, don't get me wrong, but like,
I don't know. I'm all for. I want DC to like really try to like do the whole Marvel thing.
They are. I mean, they are
like crazy, but to a much bigger extent.
I hope they do well. Like I actually really like Shazam.
I want them to like do that, but like in such a different way. Like instead of copying it, be like, we're gonna try to build this whole universe and do like pump out movies constant. I don't know if they have enough people in the DC. I don't know what the total number of people in DC
I don't
is,
either, but I'm assuming they do.
But like take really different turns on like the comedy and like the style and everything.
I think they tried that, but then again, Marvel did that with Guardians. Like Guardians was a new type of movie for them, and it worked really, really well. But then
Chris Pratt,
Chris Pratt, and then DC tried that with like Suicide Squad, failed miserably. I don't know. It's just it's like a whole.
Isn't there a new Suicide Squad coming out?
So they hired they hired James Gunn, who did Guardians. So they hired him to do the new Suicide Squad movie because they're like, oh, you did it for Marvel, you can do it for us. So I don't know. I have no, I don't know.
We'll see.
I'm like I said many times before, I'm over all these for a while.
I'm over superhero. I'm so over Marvel. I'm not a Marvel person.
I am ready for the Robert Pattinson Batman movie though. I'm all about that, but
I could go for a Batman movie.
Yeah, Batman's like, he's the best, so we could always do that. So Hitchcock next week. Have you guys seen a Hitchcock movie?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen a few. I've seen
he's like
Frenzy.
Okay.
Psycho, obviously.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah. He's like the old bald guy.
Is Frenzy's the one with the necktie murder?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's the one I've seen.
Okay. It's fun. That's such a weird like Hitchcock movie to see. Like out of any of his movies, like, it's not like the most popular one.
Did you see Rotten Tomatoes? Paddington 2 overtook Citizen Kane, I think, as the highest rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes.
I haven't seen the films, but I've heard they're good, like really good.
I also
we should pick one.
I don't remember the different. I don't know if I've only seen the first Paddington Bear or the second, but like when my nephew Henry was young, he loved. I don't know if he still watches it. Probably everyone watches it. Apparently, it was a good film.
Yeah, dude.
But like overtaking Citizen Kane, it's just hilarious. Like that was the highest rated. Yeah, now Paddington is above it.
That is bizarre. Like, who's the? I don't even know the director of that movie. Like,
maybe you change your pick, man. Maybe you get a Paddington tattoo next week.
Oh, Paddington 2.
You show up and you like take your shirt off and you have a Paddington on the other shoulder.
Oh, it'd be good. That's crazy though. That is. I don't know how that. I feel like I need to watch it just because of that. But Citizen Kane's a pretty great. Have you seen Citizen Kane?
Well, I think like when I worked at the video store.
Oh yeah. I need to rewatch that one.
2, 100% on Rotten Tomato.
What? Did it win Oscars? If it's that good, it should be Oscar worthy, right?
245 reviews.
Wait, what the hell? 100%.
Director Paul King.
Great.
I don't know.
Oh, wasn't even nominated for Oscars. How is that possible? Higher than Citizen Kane, no nominations.
Paul
and this
King,
guy,
British writer.
Also,
Paddington 2, Paddington 3.
Also, this guy literally hasn't directed anything else that's like popular.
Yeah, dude, because he just nailed it. He's like the Jordan Peele. He was like, I'm gonna make these bear movies, and they're just gonna be amazing.
Oh, one of the writers wrote Your Highness, or was in Your Highness. Oh, he's an actor. Oh, okay. Oh, he's writing the new Pinocchio movie. The writer, one of the writers. Huh.
Well,
I'm curious. I feel like we got to pick that at some point.
Yeah, if anyone's seen it, let us know if this rating is true.
I think Griffin saw it. I think he liked it. I don't remember.
I'll trust that.
Should I just end it?
I was gonna say, should we?
I'm just gonna.
Oh, there he is.
Do you have any thoughts on Paddington 2 before we end? All right. That's a wrap.